I'll try not to spend too much time on this last subject. I've talked about Caleb Williams a ton on this channel. I have multiple videos of him. Some of my highest rated videos on this channel are from none other than Caleb Williams. But everyone counting out Caleb Williams and going after him for not having another good game, I'm just going to point everyone back to my take I had prior to the season, to my take I had prior to the NFL draft. I never once called Caleb Williams a bust. I never once said the Chicago Bears should keep Justin Fields over Caleb Williams. I came out in a video and specifically said, if you're a Bears fan and you think that, you don't know what you're talking about. What I've always pointed to is Caleb Williams has to live up to the expectations of being the number 1 overall pick and a generational talent coming out of the draft, and do something that is harder than any quarterback can be asked to do in the NFL. You're already asked to be perfect. You're already asked to contribute right away. And then you add in the third aspect. You're adding in the aspect of you have to take an organization that has literally never had a 4,000-yard passer or has literally ever had a franchise quarterback, and you are asked to take them from NFL purgatory into relevancy. That's what Caleb Williams has been asked to do. And I've said that over and over. I said everyone that just thought Caleb Williams was going to come out and be Patrick Mahomes, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, morphed into one, you're crazy. Yeah, the guy is superbly talented, and I don't think he's a bust, and I don't think he's awful. But not only is he running for his life behind an offensive line that somehow got worse, which I'd have to check the stats on that, how much of those are actually Caleb Williams running into sacks because he thinks he can outrun players because he's still playing at USC, which he'll just get coached out of that at some point. But there's so many issues with the Chicago Bears than just Caleb Williams. He's not a bust. He's not bad. He's superbly talented. And I have zero doubts in my mind that the talent is there enough for him to at least be an average NFL quarterback. That's how talented he is. But you're asking Caleb, with a defensive head coach, with a organization that has never had a 4,000-yard passer, with an organization who has never had a franchise quarterback and has literally ruined every other quarterback that has came before Caleb Williams, you're asking him to now rise above all that. If you thought there weren't going to be speed bumps in this, that's a you issue. If you are out on Caleb Williams because of two, call it what it was, miserable performances, that's a you issue. It's not a Caleb Williams issue. Caleb Williams is superbly talented. The problem in the Caleb Williams experience is not his play, is not his performance. If you didn't think even someone as generationally talented as Caleb Williams is wasn't going to have growing pains, that's on you. The issue with the Caleb Williams thing has always been the expectations. Everyone expected him to have the elusiveness of Lamar Jackson, with the arm of Patrick Mahomes, with the football brains of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. That was never going to happen. Peyton Manning struggled his rookie year. No one comes in right away and dominates the league. Patrick Mahomes sat a year. Aaron Rodgers sat multiple years. Pretty much every number 1 overall pick has had an up and down rookie year. Pretty much every number 1 overall pick is taken by surprise by how fast and how intense and how insane the NFL is. So the problem isn't with Caleb Williams, who I have been highly critical of. Not for his play, not for his ability to be one of the most electric quarterbacks I have ever seen. My issue with Caleb Williams has always been the emotional aspect, and I will continue to say that until I am blue in the face. Caleb Williams is a different guy. I don't care that he paints his nails. I don't care that he does things differently, but he's different. And whatever, I think it'll work. I think he'll be perfectly fine with any way that he wants to trailblaze his way in the NFL. But he's different. He paints his nails. He cries in the stands after a couple losses. He's a little emotional. Nothing wrong with being emotional, but he's a little emotional. Those things are just a little different from a position at the quarterback position that we've asked to be alpha male leadership qualities day in and day out. That's what we've asked of our quarterbacks in the NFL. And what he's doing is a little different. He's paving his own way. Russell Wilson paved his own way. That's just what happens. I think it's going to work. But emotionally, when you've been told how amazing you are ever since you stepped foot on a high school football field all the way to being in the NFL, and you start to fail immediately like most NFL quarterbacks do in their rookie season, it takes a toll on you. And instead of winning games because of you, they're losing games because of you. Caleb Williams has an incredibly tough uphill battle to fight. He's not just living up to the expectations of being the number one overall pick, of being seen as a generational talent. He's not just living up to those expectations. He's also having to supersede and exceed the garbage that has been the Chicago Bears quarterback situation in its entirety and its existence. They've never had a 4,000-yard passer. They've never had a franchise quarterback, and he has to exceed above all of that. The problem with the Caleb Williams experience is not Caleb Williams' play. Yeah, emotionally I have questions, and I didn't like that he was pouting on the bench. I didn't like that he had his head down most of the time. I didn't like that he wasn't riling the troops most of the game. But he's young. I'm not going to kill him for that. And he was thrown on the ground 18 million times last night. I wouldn't be too happy either. It's hard to deal with all those things at once and then bring the team together when you're PO'd at them yourself. The issue has always been the expectations for Caleb Williams. Because no matter how many times, pre-draft, pre-NFL season, no matter how many times I said, maybe we should just slow down, just a little bit. Before I said, 2 weeks before the NFL season, Caleb Williams had an insane run for a touchdown in the preseason against second and third stringers at home against the Bengals, and it was fun and it was electric and cool. And I said, you can't take anything from the preseason. Nothing. Bo Nix was Peyton Manning in the preseason. And now he's Bo Nix in the regular season. He hasn't been very good. Another prediction I was right on, by the way. A guy that I don't think that can play. Caleb Williams, everyone had said, oh, this guy's going to be awesome. He's going to be amazing right out the gate. Nick Wright has him in the Super Bowl. Other people have him in top 10 quarterback rankings for a guy that had never played a game in the NFL, had never really dealt with the snap and day-to-day consequences of being in the NFL. And I repeatedly said, wait a second. Yeah, I think he's going to be good too. But he's a different guy. The NFL is really, really good, newsflash. And let's just relax on the expectations because you're setting yourself up for failure. Andrew Luck came into this league and immediately tore it up. Russell Wilson showed up to this league and immediately tore it up. Andrew Luck was superbly generationally talented. That lived up to be the truth. Until, the Colts allowed him to get his brains beaten out every single day, so he had to retire early. Russell Wilson, a little bit to that was the surprise factor. No one expected this 5'11 kid out of Wisconsin and NC State to just beat everyone right away. No one expected that. Caleb Williams is right on track. Everyone struggles in the beginning. It's not an indictment on Caleb Williams. It's an indictment on your expectations. And it's why every single year, no matter what the quarterback is that comes out, I'm going to immediately say, okay, let's relax just a little bit on the craziness that is the Caleb Williams hype or whatever first overall pick comes out of the NFL draft. That's how I feel every time. And now you have people going too far the other direction. Oh, Caleb can't play. I was right. I was wrong about Caleb Williams. Newsflash. Texans defense is really good. It is. And you could just chop it up to Texans defense was really good. I saw a guy that I played video games with on Madden multiple times, Tony Jefferson of the the Los Angeles Chargers, incredibly good dude. He tweeted last night. A guy I know personally. He tweeted, there's just no one open. There's just no one open. The Texans are doing a really good job. D'Amico Ryans is really smart. It could just come down to that. It could just come down to the Texans were just really good. Last week, first game of his NFL career. There's jitters, there's nerves. Marvin Harrison Jr. of the Arizona Cardinals, my beloved Arizona Cardinals, wasn't very good last week. This week was really good. The NFL is a week-to-week basis, and you just got to give the guy some time to simmer before we have before we have large hearsay and crazy takes of he's really good or he's really, really bad. Just give it time. Let it marinate. And then we can form an actual opinion on Caleb Williams.